There is a big blog post coming out reacting to a lot of the community feedback on Friday. In this video, we are previewing that. We're talking about the Shadowland team. We're talking about more rumors. Do we really know who the next milestone character is? All of that and a lot more on your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. This week, I am joined by Brother Remanx. And if you guys are ready for all those topics, Brother Remanx, tell them what to do, my friend.
Get ready to react to it.
ValleyFlyin.
Oh, hello, Valley Maniacs. What is up? Welcome to the channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I am joined by this guy right there, the Rem-Guardian. How are you, my friend? It has been a little bit. A little hot minute. That's what I'm trying to say. That came out weird, but how are you doing?
It's good, man. It's good, man. Things are doing well. The doggo is recovering, so yeah, we're hoping for some stuff here. So the family dog, we thought we lost him and back again. The 11th life.
Well, I'm glad he was not lost. A lot of good stuff going on, a lot of interesting stuff going on, and a lot of anticipation for this blog post. And we're going to talk about what some wish list items for this and what we want to see. We're reacting to that big blog post from last week, the early 2021 preview, and this new team, the Shadowland team. So, yes, are you ready for this?
Yeah, well, let's go into it. Let's get right into it.
All right. Without further ado, let's talk about Moon Knight. Recently released in Marvel Strike Force, the newest $50 character in the game. And we still don't know his exact release methods. We're going to talk about that. But did you get a chance to build up your Moon Knight and test him out?
Yeah, so he's G14. I actually took the whole team. I took the whole team because our opponent had Black Order on defense.
Okay.
I still need a couple more key T4s, but they actually might be able to beat them. But who's putting Black Order on war defense these days? Oof.
How were you able to test them up against the Marauders team? Because I think that's what a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, they beat them pretty easily. They beat Marauders pretty easily.
And what is the power difference between those two teams of what you've tested?
I've seen up to 60 to 100K. So, punch up. Yeah, they're really,
wow.
they're
That's
really,
impressive.
It takes a lot of their weapons out when it comes to the mind control, not being able to do that damage to themselves. It's pretty cool.
And how much of that do you think was, now that we have Moon Knight, now that he's on the team, we have this full Shadowland team, how much of a difference do you think he actually makes to this team being able to counter a lot of these meta war defense teams?
That extra health that he's going to provide, even from the base, from having it without the T4s, and the fact that he does this amazing amount of debuffs in war, and he hits like a truck. And he's a fun character. But we'll have to see. Like, it's really hard to tell people you got to level up your Daredevil and Elektra.
So they're not as good on the team. I mean, outside of the team, they're not as good as some of these other characters outside of the team. On this team, they're decent, but yeah. I get what you meant. It just came out wrong. But we still don't know his release method. We got this in-game mail a couple days ago when he joined, and all it says is that Moon Knight character shards will be available in the upcoming limited time New Moon event. What kind of event do you think this is? I think a lot of people were thinking maybe milestone character. Looks like it's an event, but is it a milestone event? Kind of like we had with Red-Guardian, Anti-Venom, some of these other characters. What are I know we don't know for sure. Where do you think he's going to be released? Like an event, milestone, or kind of like we have going on right now with White Tiger, that type of event?
So he's not going to be a campaign event because we have 13 days left on White Tiger. So I doubt we're going to get another one back to back. So it's probably going to be something like we saw with NTW, Cyclops, and other characters where you have that some sort of like Blitz event or like interaction with, who knows, maybe you're using some sort of team. It really is. It's really vague. And I feel like that's it's really odd because we didn't get that email like upcoming soon. Moon Knight joins the fray. We didn't get that mail. We've been used to.
You know what I feel like? I feel like he would have been represented in this past blog post if there wasn't all this roadmap, all the feedback that they're working on. But that's just my feelings. It may or may not be accurate, but it's kind of weird that we still don't know his release method. We're almost done with this patch. We're starting to talk about the next patch. we still don't know how he's going to be released as far as how free-to-play players are going to be able to obtain shards for him. It's very strange that we don't know this yet.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because I feel like they might still be in the kitchen cooking with this team here, trying to figure out how to make sure they're implemented in the best possible way. So we'll have to see.
There's a lot of last minute stuff with this because this is the first team that we got the kit info for. Is that this is subject to change, and now
and that's great. After Skilletary, that was really solid for us to lead into the team. Like, hey guys, subject to change. What?
Awesome. Yeah,
really cool. No, but so there's a couple of key problems. We'll get into when we go over the team. We're going to talk about some of the cool things about them, some of the things I'm a little bit concerned about, but
let's talk about it. Let's talk about the team right now. The full Shadowland team. You said you've used them in War. How viable do you think they're going to be outside of War, though? Because obviously, if you put the resources, they'll probably be pretty good out as a War offense team. Any other value for these characters, though?
I'm gonna be testing White Tiger and Moon Knight in DD3/DD4.
Ooh. Oh my goodness!
So I am bringing them to G15 probably. So I just brought White Tiger to G15, and Moon Knight is on the horizon. So I'm wasting a ton of resources to kind of see if they are worthy of building up, and if the Moon Knight event is something that is a good event, like gives you T4s maybe for the team and stuff like that, or more importantly, gives you a 4/5 star opportunity this character, then they might be the most free-to-play friendly, light spending friendly team if you can justify spending the 1,600 to 2,000 T4s you need to make the team really hum, right? So
that's what I was going to talk about, the T4s, because that's a big concern for players that are trying to build this team. To get them to work effectively, you need to put a lot of T4s in this team, and you're estimating between 1,500, 2,000 T4 materials that you need to put on this team.
A lot of passives, Night Nurses, especially if you're going to want to, Night Nurse actually, I've used her in the Doom Raid. She's a pretty solid healer. If the Doom Raid wasn't tragically overtuned, I think we would be singing her praises in that skill nodes, because even at G12, she really was holding her own. That health boost they gave after there was a little bit of feedback from some people really helped out with the team.
Yeah. So I'm bringing her up to Gear 15 as well for Dark Dimension, in preparation for the Doom Raids, because there's not a lot of good skill healers in the game. Have you tested out Iso-8s on this team?
Yeah, so so we're going to talk about like the inherent problem right now, and what happened was it was discovered by, I think it was McMull, when he was testing some early testing. He found the passive on Daredevil was changing the speed by how they act. So once you did the passive, when we went into the JSON, what that means, by the way, is just the programming of it, is basically before it used to apply after the first character took a turn.
Okay.
Now it's Shadowlands gets it on spawn. So depending on the opponent is which character acts first. So it actually is very interesting. So if you're like fighting like a team that has a turn 0, there's a different character acting first, so it's really interesting. So like the Black Order team, Daredevil goes first, and other teams, depending on how fast they act, maybe Elektra and White Tiger go first.
That's not good.
If you have Hanger up, well, then, Moon Knight's going to take a turn, because that first action, when he gets that deflect on the turn, he's going to get that speed fill. So the problem with ISOs is for some of the interactions to work, you have to mark a target and then take advantage of that mark. So we're going to go with one that I think probably will be all encompassing. So we put Raider on both Daredevil and Moon Knight. White Tiger is probably one of the best strikers in the game, hands down, period. She her secondary attack applies heal block, defense down for 2 turns, and slow for 2 turns. Okay. And it is a ton of damage, and her stats are off the charts good. So White Tiger is definitely there. I really like, and there really isn't much of a choice besides healer for Night Nurse. She doesn't interact with the enemy team, even though she has one ability where she calls for the assist. And then realistically, Skirmisher on Elektra, because you probably want to mark that target early on. But we're going to be playing around with that more in depth. She, depending on what you're going to be doing on certain teams, we may change that up. But having her mark for because right after the hit parade is always White Tiger. So White Tiger as a striker going in there and applying those debuffs has been pretty amazing.
Gotcha. So yeah, hopefully there's more testing. They sound very logical. Maybe they are the final choices for Iso-8, but I'm very curious to see if playtesting switches any of that. Placement seems to be pretty important on this team, especially with the passive of Elektra and that special of Night Nurse. Where are you leaning right now towards the placement?
Yeah, so it's weird because it's one of those things where kind of like I want to have Beast take some damage to get that extra speed. So it's really going to come down to a matchup by matchup. If I want a target to take some damage and then get that extra speed fill for the team and maybe flip some buffs and have Night Nurse, I'm not going to necessarily position Night Nurse next to Elektra. I might have a squishier target who's having a harder time staying alive, like Moon Knight, depending on if you haven't built up. But I don't know if I recommend that passive because of the fact that you kind of want, you may want them to take a little bit of damage so that you get that extra speed fill for Night Nurse to basically cleanse the debuffs and so it's a high level team that I do enjoy when teams like this come out, but I really feel kind of obligated because as far as a T4 budget, it's really hard for I think the average player to justify throwing 2K T4s G14 at a team, especially after they saw what happened with Skeletori and not had the same value outside of the single war attack every 3 times a week, right?
Yeah, I put a lot into Skeletori. For some reason, I got good red stars on that whole team, so I was like, let's put 13 4s, let's build up this team. They look awesome. Disappointed. And, T4s are in short supply nowadays, especially when we're supposed to get them for our season rewards and they don't come in. Like this past season, we were supposed to get that. Yeah, we're talking about that.
Imagine if you had to change alliances. If you had to change alliances, that must have been terrible.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And one of the responses from customer service, I know I've gotten a different response. They said, send me all your info and they're going to look into it. But one of the responses we've seen very early on is, don't switch alliances. So stop doing that. But is that even a realistic response? So just in case you guys didn't know, in case you weren't switching alliances, these rewards were late by about 12 hours, which makes, if you have to switch alliances, it screws up a lot. It screws up your war placement if you're in zone 1. It screws your ability to attack potentially if you came over late enough to be in that war. Raids starting late because of people coming over and just a bunch of screw ups by these rewards. And what was the effect in your alliance? Was your alliance affected by this or anyone?
Absolutely, and it was Cindy and Yags joined my alliance. So
nice.
So it was it was definitely hard because they're coming from a different alliance and so their rewards are gone. Hopefully I think they finally got them from customer service yesterday. So
I sent my thing. I didn't get mine. Maybe it's by the speed that you sent in your support ticket or something.
I don't know. Maybe it was just like it's like calculating what your position was and stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, it's one of those things where it looks like the game just stopped calculating position at one point for the entire week, right? And so I just don't know.
Yeah. We've only had war for about 2 years now. They've made the same mistake previously. It's caused a bunch of commotion. You would think they would have figured it out the first time they made this mistake. And Blitz was affected as well. Those rewards being late doesn't affect a lot, their individual rewards. My thing was, and why is this not just tied to the player? If I'm an alliance, I earned these rewards. Why aren't they just given to me? It doesn't matter what alliance I'm in. I don't know what kind of coding goes on in the back, but the big surprising thing that I'm not liking right now is that there's no official response, no public response from anyone at Scopely at this time. And it's so much so that this new, have you seen this? The new MSF Cares website?
I have seen it.
And the address is days-since-incident.com if you guys want to check this out. And there's a log of all this stuff. February 1st, we had another event that was crashing. February 28th, we got these missing orbs. Still no responses, though. No resolutions to myself. I know it seems like some people are getting compensated, so at least it looks like they're doing the right thing. But why do you think there was no response from Scopely about this? I mean, this could have been this fire could have been put to rest very easily if as soon as it came out. Hey, these are late. Feel free to switch alliances. We'll take care of you on the back end. Nobody pissed off. Blitz is late. Things are different and calculate. They're going to be late. Just some kind of response like that could have done a lot of damage prevention, but nothing. Still, we're at Wednesday right now. This is 4 days later. Still nothing publicly from Scopely. Why do you think no response still?
I think that they're probably in a situation where I mean, to be fair, I would be afraid of anything I say with the current climate, right? I would almost be like, what should we say? Say nothing. It's Colonel Schultz. Say nothing.
Say nothing.
Yeah, there you go. I
guess you can't say anything wrong if you say nothing, right?
There's the answer, right?
I guess, but is it worse to say nothing? Sometimes, sometimes it's better to say something. Hey, we're aware of this. We'll look into this. I think just saying something like that would have went a long way.
So to be fair, and what are they going to say at this point? What are they going to say? They've said all these things about how they're their own harshest critics and they're all these different things. And, these accidents still happen. What would they say? So they put their resources into fixing the problem.
I don't think they define harshest critics like I would.
Yeah.
I think I'm a lot more critical of them than they are. And I think a lot of members of the community are way harsher on them than they are on themselves. I don't believe that at all now.
Well, but what I'm saying to you, I mean, they built a whole website about it. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, I think, when you're coming down to the element of, why say nothing is, if they said something, people would be like, but why are you putting why are you saying something instead of putting your resources into fixing the problem? And so
different people. That's different people that do it. Cerebro and Zeeks are the communicators. There's other people that should be working on this.
I'll be honest. I think Cerebro and Zeeks probably got tasked to help work on this problem, just from their communications, like to make sure that people's inundation. I mean, it was their problem. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to make excuses for them. It's tough. I know that there is. It's just when everybody is finding fault in everything you do, people stop doing anything.
It's a very weird time of the game right now, and it's I think it's through the real TM arena, but we'll get into all that stuff.
Oh God, no!
No, we have to talk about it. They mentioned in the blog post. We have to talk about it. I know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
There's a few people that do like it. I've seen it on Twitter. There's some people that do like it. All right, let's talk about this though. All right, your new alliance mate, Epic blog post fail, changed his name again. And did you think that blog post was an epic fail? We'll get into all the little details. What was your overarching thoughts on the blog post as you first saw it?
To be honest, it's one of those things where I feel like as a communicator by trade, a communicator for a living through content creation, I feel like it just missed a few marks and left too many vague responses that allowed people's worst fears to take over, right? So the idea was if from an overarching perspective, if you're trying to establish trust, you have to be clear, concise, and detailed. There were more questions as a result of the blog post, but I do think it was mostly good. The problem with it is I feel like it was probably mistimed with the need for the community feedback.
That was my next question, because I saw some response on Reddit. We should have had responses to all the issues that are currently going on in the game before we get a preview of what else is coming in 2021, because when I first saw this, I saw the bullet points. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And as I started reading, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was live and I'm like, all right, guys, let's take a look at it. And everybody's like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, yeah, you know, they just didn't listen to me.
I heard your swear jar got filled up on that during that live stream.
Yeah, there was like $32. I channeled Bill Burr for about 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so just
$32 and what? 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
No, about 15 seconds.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the blog post. Let's go to the blog post again. Hopefully, you can contain your cursing.
I took a couple days off to digest it, so let's
go. All right. Yeah. So I did a live Elijah tape reaction as well. Now that I've digested it, it's worse than I initially thought. But let's get into these individual things here. Costumes. I don't think this is necessarily bad. Would you say this is a positive, a negative, or a neutral here? Talking about costumes coming to Marvel Strike Force.
So there's some positives to it. Positives are we all have an attachment to it. I think the art department does a great job from the perspective if it added like new animation and stuff like that. I think some people would be like, oh, that's super cool. Add some animations. But if it adds things like, I don't know, Astonishing X-Men for Cyclops, or plus 3,000 damage, or plus 1 to 3,000 damage, right? Yeah, there's all these different questions, but I feel like if it's mostly cosmetic, I think it gives another element of the ability to make money that isn't dependent on character production and things like that, which I think has been a wish for a lot of the community. The problem was we kind of left to our own ideas and read between the lines here.
Because the vagueness of this.
Yeah, well. I mean, yeah.
Well, there's skins. I think if they're just going to be cosmetic, no issue. Doesn't really matter how they're released because it doesn't affect gameplay. If it's not, it can be good, but there's a lot of issues that it can prevent or present at that time. Because if it adds extra stats, well, then we're going to have to be forced to get these costumes. And then there's no release method mentioned in this blog post. Is it going to be just paying? Or are you going to get this at different points in the game just from playing? Will we have to spend power cores on this? Is there a new currency? There's nothing detailing how we're actually going to get these. So that's an issue.
I guess for me is if we look at other games that have that component, as long as they don't add stats, I think a lot of people will be relatively indifferent. I think a lot of people that may never have bought in the game before may actually do that, may have an attachment to that, because it isn't going to change the impact of what a free-to-play player or a endgame player has. They can throw that costume on and just look cooler doing it.
Yeah. Future Fight had skins and they had stats. They had different kits. Yeah. Ooh, there was some things about that I enjoyed. There's some things that I didn't enjoy those. So if it was done right with stats, I think it can be a problem. The only thing is the catch-up mechanic and the release method. If everyone can attain these skins or costumes, I think it could be good. But I like the freshness of it, but yeah, it does pose a lot of problems. What if you got all the good stats on a different skin that you don't like to look at that skin? You're forced to use it because of those stats, but there is some freshness that they can add, but not enough details to make any kind of determination that this blog post is kind of what I got from this.
And just to reiterate the Future Fight thing is in that game that the costumes changed the abilities, so it was like a character rework.
Tags, it's pretty much a rework. It changed a bunch of stuff depending on what the costume did. So, neutral. I'm neutral on this one now because I don't have enough information yet.
Yeah, I hope we get information soon.
Me too. All right, ISO-8 Blue. In itself, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the vagueness of this is scaring the community though. They mentioned a Doom Raids, which how many alliances can finish this right now? 20, if that, less. Maybe, I say finished. I'm talking getting to like the 60%, 30% that are getting in there. If it's just with Doom Raids, this is going to be an issue because it's kind of like that the rich get richer kind of scenario, and it's going to be even further for newer players to catch up because of this. If we have this as like the next campaign into ISO-8, I don't have a problem with blue ISO-8s coming to the game, but it depends on the release method. What is your take on ISO-8 Blue and what you saw from this blog post?
They didn't make a lot of money on ISO-8s. ISO-8 was probably development. It was a really cool feature. They got a bunch of player feedback, but I doubt they made their target goal for money. And so this is something that over time is going to make has given us agency, believe it or not, when it comes to like upgrading characters, being able to take and theory craft. This has actually added a lot of fun for a lot of players, and I think it's the problem with that is there are very few idiots like me who spend thousands of dollars on ISOs to test them out. Most people, do go through normal progression. So I think, looking at the number of people that have ISO level 5, there's no way that they're going to be getting ISO level 2 ready quickly, easily, and oftentimes make the right impact for their characters. And so I think it's something that, for me, I think the ISO in general was a really good feature. I hope that after, so that this Doom raid is first strike, right? It's a strike. It's not a full release. So they could bring back the Doom raid with an iteration that we have a more accessible Doom raid for people. However, I will say this right now: if your alliance has people who have beaten Dark Dimension 4, which we're in the point where I think we're over 200 people have gotten through it now. Mm-hmm. They're going to be better situated to do close to 100%, if not 100% it. So yeah. I think Doom Raid is after Doom, and I think.
Okay. Well, as far as the ISO-8 though, coming back to that, if they're releasing this and they release this in campaigns, I don't think that's going to be an issue. But what I would like to see is them release the bottleneck on ions. I think that's the large thing that's preventing people from getting them up to class 5 ions. If they're adding this next layer, this next tier, I would like to see players be able to get to that level 5 a lot quicker. And then this is the new bottleneck for ISO-8.
So we have an ISO guide that Yuletide put out for the community, and basically the difference between 4 and 5 is substantial. You go from 27 ISOs, components, tier 1 components, to 81, all right, to go from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a near exponential increase to get to that next level. So it isn't ions per se that are holding you back. Because it's really hard to justify for most people's roster taking something above 2 to 3. So I gotta think that you're probably gonna have to start targeting characters to 4 and 5 based on the impact they have on your roster, and maybe projecting if you're gonna ISO to them down the road. It's really kind of an interesting place to be, because level 1 will get you at least the early interactions. Level 2 will get you some more health. Level 3 gets you a little bit more stats. Level 4 gets you more health, and level 5 gets you, in some cases, that final ability that makes the ISO worth having. Period. So it's really kind of frustrating knowing that the majority of the community probably has 4 or 5 characters at ISO 5, if any.
If any, yeah. So maybe not just releasing that that ion bottleneck, but also the crystals for these lower 3 levels. There's a new bottleneck coming. Release an old one, Scopel. Next, this is where this problem is snowballed to the state we're in right now. Not releasing old bottlenecks. So I hope they've learned from their mistakes, and judging by what the community is doing, I hope they're seeing that in their stats that they're looking at as well, because people just might be upset that are hard going to this game, and there might be a lot of people that don't watch any YouTube, don't go on Reddit. They're like, we love this game, and they're just spending money. So I don't know. Release the bottlenecks. Is basically what I say, and make it accessible to everybody. That's what I want to see from ISO-8 Blue. All right. I was so excited when I saw this bullet point. Like, it's gonna be tied to all these game modes, but no, it's another battle pass type system coming to the game.
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw this? Were you excited when you saw this right there, and then just quickly shifted as you read this?
So I guess that was the last official communication, was that this is going to be 2 passes, right? Was that the last official communication?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it was official. It was just because they haven't really communicated publicly about a lot of this stuff. So
it was on Reddit, right? Wasn't on Reddit? It said there was going to be a... I don't know.
I am not.
I don't.
It looks like it's a second battle pass. It does. It does.
So let's talk about the iteration and other Scopely games, right? So this is a... in Looney Tunes, they have a battle. They have a battle pass that's different than what we have, because it isn't attached to a single game mode. It's an all-encompassing battle pass. So
that sounds like what this is, right?
But it's a release mechanism for like a legendary quality character that was like Cosmic Bugs Bunny or something like that. So
okay.
I don't know. We'll have to see. There's all different ways that this could be done, right?
Now, hold on, sorry to interrupt you, but you said as a release method, the characters. Is this the paid version of the battle pass that only that one would get the character, or everybody, as long as you completed milestones, would be able to get that awesome character? How was that done in Looney Tunes?
So it looks like everybody gets it, but you get a more powerful version depending on if you spend.
So just more shards, more stars if you spend. Okay.
So it was like, I think it was like what if I recall correctly, it was like Cosmic Bugs Bunny, right? So
okay.
So it was kind of interesting because we've seen a little bit of crossover between the two games. We've seen them add like red stars. So I'm wondering if we're going to kind of adopt their battle pass model, which did have a lot of cool stuff in there for freebies for players. But it's something we may need to revisit down the road here and see if, because let's be realistic. If let's say a character's added to this strike pass and it's a 4-star character, I think people will be less like, oh my God, this is terrible. But if it's something that, you're getting something that's barely usable, or, it's so hard to find that balance between what's going to please the majority of the players and what they're still going to be able to implement it and make money. Because for me, looking at this, I think they thought that this is going to be exciting because you're going to get more. You're getting more stuff for what you already do. It's just dailies 2.0.
Yeah, as long as you spend more stuff to buy. More stuff to buy.
No. It's like you're already getting. It's like so there's a free version and a premium version, I'm assuming, and it feels like you're already getting stuff for your dailies. Here's more stuff, but you can buy the premium. But there's always going to be an offer where everybody's going to be like, whoa, they can't, like, for instance, I'll be honest with you. Remember when the 6-star elite offer came out?
The Black Friday one?
Even before that one, when it was $75, right?
Oh my god. Oh no. Yeah.
So the $75, there was a $75 6 elite orb. Okay. And people are like, oh my God, how could they sell that? That's terrible. And the Kraken community was like, numb. Kraken stacks. There you go. They can sell us more of those. And then we get the one for Black Friday and everybody's like $25. Oh, that's almost a must buy for me. Well, so the idea behind this is, in a true microtransaction world, if there's a lot of value in that, the problem with like micro and macro transactions, this is going to be like one of those, like, Remen, what are you thinking? I got to say it out loud.
Do it.
This game is free-to-play friendly because it's expensive. Because free-to-play players play this game. I get what you're saying. Can play this game because they can. Because it isn't like there is a ton of people buying all the new characters up to 7-star on release. There really isn't. I mean, you can look at that. So the problem is, if they're bringing things down to that point where it has value, and you have to sit there and you have to go, oh man, can I mean, is this going to be something I can afford? But it's got a lot of value. It's something if I spend $40 a month on the game, because that's how much I'm going to allocate for me having fun for my budget, right? Well, there's the RTA battle pass. I don't have fun doing it, but there's stuff in there I want. And then there's this strike pass. And then what am I left with?
No new characters.
Yeah, but at least I'll have the gear to bring them up when I finally get one.
But so I mean, at least with gear and stuff you could use. With these new characters, they're at a point where you buy them, just the one offer, they're not usable unless you go crazy and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on that character. And anyway, but yeah.
Can you make sure
I'm diverging here, but
yeah, please blacklist this from my wife, so she doesn't see this video, to understand, like, that's how much we're spending when a new character comes out.
Yes. Go into her phone and block my channel from her.
Done.
It hurts me, but it'll help you in the long term. So good. All right. So I gotta say, I didn't think of what some of the points that you brought up. This was a big negative for me, but if they do, because they didn't bring up a lot of the points you brought up. If they do implement that, it could be a good thing, but it's very vague in this blog post. So.
I'm sure they thought this is like, oh God, guys, you guys want dailies 2.0? We'll just put them in the strike pass, tell you a little bit more, and no big deal. You guys buy stuff from us anyway. Just buy some more.
10 Wolverine shards a day instead of 5. Catch a mechanics, guys.
We'll have to see. I mean, yeah.
All right. Exclusive new character. Is this the Rem-Guardian finally coming to Marvel Strike Force? I would be happy with that.
That's a costume. The Rem-Guardian's confirmed the costume.
What about the 80s rock star? Is that character coming to the Marvel Strike Force? I would love to see that character in the game.
The 80s. I heard it's NFL Superfan.
Okay.
So
are you joking or are you really heard that?
That's a joke. That was like one of the worst.
I know it was kind of out there, but you never know nowadays.
That was one of the worst Marvel characters of all time. Well, anyway, so what this is basically, it's cool because what they usually do is they create kind of like a story, an original story that ties this to the Marvel universe. And so it's kind of acknowledgement that this game is finally canon, right? So what's happening in this game is happening in kind of this multiverse. And so they're going to build a character that's going to be unique to Marvel Strike Force. But the problem with that is they're stoked about it. I'm kind of like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is like a really, really kind of a cool thing. But the problem with that is with everything else, people are like, oh, just something else to sell us.
This is like a sell. This could be a sell. I mean, this whole blog post, I said more selling. This whole new thing's coming. It's just potential sell.
Yeah. So, I mean, but there's some really good improvements coming up. We'll skip this.
We'll talk about that. There's some good things in these improvements. But as far as what's coming up in 2021, this does not excite me at all. I know the folks who have Scopely are excited about this, but I couldn't care less if there's an original character. I'd actually prefer just Marvel canon characters. Not. Did
you play Marvel Contest of Champions?
No, but I played Future Fight, and they had Luna Snow introduced there, and I couldn't care one bit about her, honestly.
So what has to happen is you got to understand, like it's either going to be something that you get attached to or you're not. I think it could be the centerpiece of the brand. It could be a new villain. It could be a new hero. What it does allows them to tell a story unique to themselves, and so I think a lot of people probably struggle to understand how this Marvel universe fits in the grand scheme of things. So what this does is it ties the game into canon. So it's supposed to introduce a little bit more interaction from like the storyline. Typically, I think in the past they actually had like Marvel writers write stories. So and incorporate that in. So I get it. I understand your trepidation because you're like, dude, where's my Red Hulk? Where's all these other things that I care about? Yeah, and then you're going to give me a character. But I mean, it really is kind of it's interesting knowing that there may be stories that include a character that we're interacting with now, and that this Ultimus universe will make more sense in the Marvel universe. So we'll have to see.
We will. And maybe my thoughts on this will change once it's actually released. Maybe it's a cool character. Maybe it's a character I could connect with, but all right. There's some good things in these improvements. This is probably the highlight of blog post for me as far as positivity. Amazing. This is awesome. We're getting more save squads in this next update. That's the Band-Aid, but we're getting tabs. We're getting it finally fixed sometime in 2021. Long overdue. This is something I think that was needed in year one. I'm happy they're doing this. And any other thoughts on this? I think this is totally positive. Any devil's advocate you want to play with this?
No, this is something that I'm sure I would pay $10 to have.
Don't say that. Don't say that. They're gonna charge. Don't say that, please.
No.
Edit. I'll leave it in, but hopefully they don't do that. I think these kind of go together. Raid season milestones, raid key tracking, both long overdue changes. I think this is
milestone rewards. It's funny because I was like, this is cool. You're already going to do stuff you're already doing, right? People are like, but what if they gate it around Doom raid completion? And I'm like, yeah, of course they are.
That's Scopely. That's what happens when you're so vague. If people go to it right to the negative instead of thinking how things could be. So
yeah, here we go.
Vagueness does not, especially the climate nowadays that's overall negative. Yeah. It's gonna lean towards the negative if it's vague like this. So that's cool. We needed this. Other than that, I don't really have a lot of thoughts on this. Yeah. The only thing to add, we need this. We need it for a while as well.
Yeah. Raid key tracking is good for Alliance members. So let's so the next one is, here we go. I know.
All right, this is not a good.
You first.
All right. I thought Red Stars for Ultron. This is cool, and then I started reading it again, and disappointed again after I read the thing. It's going to be you could be purchased. Well, the new character redeemable to purchase Red Stars. You get them by opening more orbs. This was so disappointing. I was hoping that this week's blog post would include some changes for the Red Star system, more control over our roster, but this makes me think that they're pushing more of these basic orbs. The solution, just put to all your Red Star problems, just open more orbs is kind of what I got from this. What was your impression of this? Is Ultron, Ultimus getting Red Stars, does this excite you, or are you thinking this hurts chances for Red Stars getting reworked?
Yeah, I didn't want the stupid.
Yes, I love it. That's what this deserves.
I didn't want Red Stars. I mean, seriously, it's like let's put some basic Red Stars in there. And so, I mean, suddenly it's like, who the cares about this? We need. Let's give us some agency over the literal the literal like characters that care about that we can't get out released.
I don't know half the stuff you said because most of it is edited, but I love it. Red Stars are bad. Fix it, Scopely. I don't know what to say. We've said so much stuff about Red Stars, how bad it is, how it could be fixed. There's been endless solutions on how to fix it. Not much has been taken of.
Yeah,
Red Stars are bad.
Like, I
Red
mean,
Stars are bad.
Let's give them agency on characters we don't care about, right? It's like it's literally, it's a big deal.
I know I've waited for Ultimus Red Stars for a long time. I mean, we could go on about Red Stars and solutions and everything, but who knows if they're even if they care. I mean, there's been a lot of the solutions that have been offered to them, and not much has been done about this API. Again, something that probably should have been done 2 years ago, but it's good that they're finally getting the initial stages. The ball is rolling. It's not what we want. It's not the solution to the Mantis and getting all our information to msf.gg, but it looks like they're starting to open some of the doors, and this is going to lead to the correct doors that we want being open later. What are your thoughts on this API coming? Is this initial phase excite you?
This is a big deal. This is something that'll let us manage our rosters, interface with a lot more of the control screens, having us help manage our alliances. It's a big deal, and so I think you have to understand that there's probably been like this legal black hole where they've been changing hands and companies for the past 2 years, and so finally there's some stability, and they're probably just working on what aspects of this they can do, and the ramifications of giving people access to the clients and stuff like that. So this is a big deal. This is I think this is a big deal, especially for our friends over at msf.gg and the tools they really want to create for us.
Yeah, they got so much that they can do if they have full access to this. I'm excited to see when we get the full version. Maybe not what's coming out in this next update, but the full version to this API. All right, under review, things that we didn't get much information about. Alliance War, looking to add room bonuses. Finally, it's been teased for a while. I think in the video with Cerebral, he said that they weren't planned. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but this was kind of surprising to me. It may have been from our conversation beforehand, but did this surprise you? I thought this was on the back burner and not really getting too much traction. But room bonuses for Alliance War.
I really think that it is something that I hope that they make it that the war isn't. Sit there for 9 hours staring at your screen. I remember having to do wars in the middle of like I got to do a presentation. Hold on, guys, I'm in the bathroom. War attack, gotta get that war attack in. Oh, it was like, and it was crazy thinking about how much time the cadence of war takes when it's a competitive quote unquote fun war, right?
Yes.
So I feel like having a mode where you rely on 24 people, they got to figure out fun, man. And maybe this is part of it. I really hope that they get this right. And if they do community feedback and get like and treat it like ISOs, I think they can do it right. We'll have to see.
What's surprising to me is nothing mentioned about matchmaking here, which I think for at least for the people that I'm talking to, the biggest issue with Alliance War isn't these bonuses, it's the matchmaking. If I get a good match, I'm having a fun war. If it's a match that we're either steamrolling them or we're getting steamrolled, not fun. And more often than not, I'm not having a fun war. So I would have liked them to address matchmaking, not room bonuses. Fix that before adding new features. That's what I would have preferred. But
yeah, well, I guess the 4 time zones are contribute to that a little bit. So all right, so your favorite subject's coming up.
Oh, you could. Do you have your swear ready? Do you have your swear thing ready?
You could. I mean, you have your own. I do.
All right. Yes, I won't have to edit and put ducks in later. All right. So, real time arena. This has been the worst game mode that I've ever experienced. I've not had less fun in a game mode ever than playing real time arena, and just sucks. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not swearing at all. But yeah, what they mentioned again is the quitting. The quitting. I don't think they realize that it's not the points that the issue with the quitting. It's that we gotta wait. The timers. Dude, Scopely, do you guys play this mode and realize what the issues are with this and not? And I realize there are some people that have fun, but I think the overwhelming majority of the community hates this mode. Not dislikes it, hates this mode, but the rewards are so good that people play this anyway. We've heard feedback regarding imbalances matchmaking, been going on since season 1. And I think there's probably about a week during season 1 that I got better. Seemed to be based on the teams that you're bringing in, but every other time, it's been horrible matchmaking, and yes, it's still not fixed. We're in season 3, going on season 4. We still have horrible matchmaking. Greater incentive to win matches. Right now, there is no incentive to win matches other than getting your 1 win a day. Just crap. It's the stupidest game mode I've ever experienced in any game. We continue to explore options. I mean, geez, it's only season 4 coming up, and they're gonna explore. What have they changed? They made it worse by removing the knockouts between season 1 and season 2. They've done this crap with this screwing up the timers between season 2 and season 3. They're gonna bring that back, but we're gonna get to be able to claim the objectives. But is the timer situation to be fixed? Because that's the real issue here. Not oh, I quit, I don't get to get my objectives. It's a timer. I don't get to do another match because of real time, because of this stupid thing that's implemented.
Okay, relax.
All right.
Virtual hug.
I'm done. You can talk now.
Virtual hug, Valley. I give you virtual hug. Enjoy. Okay.
I get fired up about real time arena. I hate this so much.
I see it.
All right. Your thoughts. Sorry.
Step away from the real time arena. Step back. Put the real time arena down.
They don't get it.
So I guess my concern is how much of an afterthought this is, when this is what lit the fire. This is what's lit the fire in the community, right? This has literally been the sticking point. Is they don't get what fun and quality screen time means to us, because they made this whole like, we really want to value your screen time and give you high quality screen time, and well, exactly. And the only thing is, how do we believe anything when they put that out and they created something like Real Time Arena, which has literally been through so many iterations that they clearly it was as if they never asked a single player who actually played this game.
People were asked. None of the things were implemented, though. Nothing was implemented. Because I gave feedback to them, Mobile Gamer gave feedback to them, nothing was taken. None of it was implemented, and they released it exactly how we saw. This is the stupidest game mode.
I get it. I understand.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't apologize. I mean,
I want to give you a chance to talk, but I hate this mode so much.
The fact that this is an afterthought at the bottom of this blog, or whatever you want to call it, the bottom of the roadmap is I said it on stream. I'm like, we all got in the car with this stranger because they were like, yeah, we got Marvel characters. We're like, oh, Marvel characters? I'll get in the car. Yeah. And then we're sitting in there. We're like, I don't think they know where we want to go. But more importantly, I'm not even sure they should be driving. Yeah, I don't know, man. It really kind of feels it feels bad, right? It does. And so RTA has been the sticking point, and for a lot of people to see it kind of like as this like this just blanket statement of we're going to take into consideration, and then they're going to sell us another battle pass next month, which we're all going to buy because there's crap in there that's just too good, and we're all going to sit there and be like, why is this guy bringing Zemo? Why did you bring Zemo? Put him down. Put Zemo down. Permanent ban, you know, and now more people are going to have Zemo. So that was the solution.
I don't know. I gotta see something really major as far as Red Stars and Real Time Arena in this upcoming blog post. But yeah, one cool thing they're looking at adding existing features. They're looking adding more game modes. They're under construction. They take more time. And then the disappointment later in 2021 or early possibly 2022. That's when we're getting another game mode. I know there's other games that a lot of players of Marvel Strike Force have come over from. They got some fun game modes. And despite the community being angry with the game, those game modes are actually people are having fun with those. What would you want to see from this? And would you want to see it not waiting till 2022 before we finally get a good fun game mode?
I think they missed the boat not having a danger room where they can put like they could turn on war bonuses and give us like a complete 15 battles in a danger room against these meta war teams with war bonuses. Do this this like raid team or like a little like little mini challenges and so they can do that, create something around it, like a game mode around it, where you can use your war specific characters in a danger setting because it's like war. And so you'd have some fun because already built these characters up, and those and then you can actually have it in a non 24 person setting where 24 people are relying on you, 23 other people are relying on you to win that attack, and you're not even sure how it operates. But yeah, they definitely missed like let's challenge Galactus. Let's have, I mean, it's not like there's any like global level like bosses out there that we could probably.
Do you think that ultimately is what's going to be coming to the game, some kind of world boss, or do you feel it's a danger mode, maybe some kind of combination between the two?
They probably should do something like the towers that exist in other games, like where like I think that's what Conquest mode is that just got released in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. We have they have their Grand Arena, which is such a fun mode to participate in.
Everybody's talking about that. I mean, ever since it was released in SWAG, I was like, hey, can we bring this to MSF? But no, we get Real Time Arena. Real Time Arena was a very unique situation when we can draft characters and you can, build different teams. But these cookie cutter teams, when we're being forced to do objectives with squads that we don't give a squat about, and and like battle people that are like, I brought my Emma, I brought my Zemo, I brought my dad bros, and I don't think you got a turn, but that's not a problem. Enjoy. And then that's what they do when they take winning out of the purpose between season 1 and season 2 and just make it just use objectives. That's the point.
We've heard the players. We're gonna make sure that there's more objectives where you will feel like you're building up your roster and then lose because we're gonna make you punch up 300k every day, and then we're gonna give you characters that that like get like a 90 speed and give you 160 actions you got to do with them, and good luck getting those off, commanders.
We're back at Real Time Arena again. One more point before we move on to the next thing. Mobile gamers said it best. Why is this PvP? Everybody plays this on auto anyway. Why does just this PvE content playing against we won't have to wait for load times and all that? It's just silly.
If there's no incentive to win, there's no reason to try.
There's no reason to play. All right, so let's move on to stuff. Here you are in the blog post, Remanx. You're just shaking it. Let's actually, I had it all spread out in different topics. Let's cover this blog post in one topic. All right, shaking it. We got some celebrations for Dark Dimension 4. Ebony Maw is coming back. We have Zemo coming tonight.
Bravo.
Blitz of Stature. Not coming tonight.
No, bravo. I'm saying bravo.
Okay.
That's a really good thing.
And yeah, Chaos Theory. We got a stature blitz right now, but it looks like this Thursday for older players, a break finally from Blitz after months and months of new character releases in Blitz. What is your favorite part of this blog post? I do want to cover something that's a little bigger, so I do want to speed through this a little bit.
So we'll just really quickly. It's cool that we're seeing Zemo, because I think he actually is going to be a great character for people to start focusing on to help them get through some of the harder content faster. And so that Hydra team is actually Hydra Scientist, him, and the crossbones that you get early on. It's a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot more use.
Quick thoughts on Ebony Maw. Still relevant. Black Order still relevant. Should people be building them up? But that's one of the big questions I'm getting from a lot of people.
I don't know that you should be throwing all your resources into them. Like, I don't know if you should. I think you should be hesitant on what you go promote. They probably still have a few more months. I don't think they're getting dethroned in Arena anytime soon, unless some of the rumored characters we talk about later are gonna change that. But I think we're beyond seeing Doom shake up the Arena meta.
Okay. So we got through that really quick. Usually we take a lot of time, but there is a pretty big preview of this blog post that I do want to cover. Before we get to that, though, poll. We got a recent poll. We've had global, we've had cosmic. Now we're in city. I think this is. You could even see sad, happy.
Yeah, is
anybody picking Punisher? Is anybody picking Punisher?
Not people that aren't trolls. Let's put it that way. Let's go.
All right, let's go to it right here. Boom. This is the big one. Now, this was put up by Verandius. I asked him if he wanted to discuss this. He said, no. I want you to discuss this. I want you to discuss this with Remanx. So let's discuss this. This is his suggestions, wish list for the blog post on Friday. New players, catch-up mechanics, fixing Blitz so new players have a chance to complete, increasing the shard gain for older characters, clear a progress path to get to the end game for newer players. I think all these are good suggestions. Any overarching things that you want to discuss as far as catch-up mechanics for new players?
I feel like when you join this game, you're kind of lost, and a lot of people will migrate to the content creators, but you got to think about the people that aren't, and they're probably spending money and then figuring out that they regret spending money on those T2s or whatever, and then there's that buyer's remorse and they just uninstall the game. And so I think a thriving community gives these new players some type of direction. I think that's something that I've always done in every game I've ever played. You can look at my first Twitter post was Marvel Heroes, was focusing on the new game experience. Like, as a new player, how do you come into this game, and what can you do, and how do you get there? Because we're at the 3-year mark, dude. We're about to hit the 3-year anniversary, and so for a lot of these characters to be like, no, you can't have it. But I just want Magneto. No. But he's not even in the arena meta anymore. You can't have him. So that's kind of the situation. So I think that this is really important.
I like this as well. I think I would like to see every single one of these 4 points addressed for new players in the blog post. Obviously, I would like it to be exactly what Verandius wrote, but I would like it to. I would be happy if they were at least addressed and they're attempting to fix these things. All right, this applies to players that have been playing for a longer time, mid and late game players. I'm just gonna read these highlights because this could probably be an hour video on its own. So, training modules greatly increased for mid and late game players. Yes. Big bottleneck. I think that needs to be addressed more. Purple gear for mid and late game players. Yes, purple should not be a bottleneck now that orange is the new bottleneck. Reliable T13 uniques and basic orange gear for mid and late game players. They're kind of addressing some of the basic gear, not these T13 uniques though. Arena, oh my goodness, arena exploit concerns. Someone made a video about this, and it's still not even got a public response, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. People are exploiting this, and nothing's been said about this. Things have been said privately. Things have been said that under NDA, but nothing that we can talk about here. So they need to address this. They need to address this.
I think everybody's feeling the pain of that right now too. So go ahead.
Yeah. It's not fun for a lot of players. I haven't experienced this myself, but it definitely needs to be addressed.
So let's just talk about that. That's a power. That's your power core. That's your power core allocation. That's the only way besides the little you get from your daily interactions, from getting power cores. So that's kind of important when you're talking about free-to-play or light spending, is how to manage that budget. And if you're going to invest in an arena team, you have to make sure that it isn't something that's beyond your control, that you're actually like fighting in the arena and have a meaningful experience. And that's a big deal. And I think that it's been ignored for too long. I won't tell people how to do it. That is not something I recommend doing, because I really hope they step up their interaction, because there are multiple players that have quit over that. So we'll leave it at that.
And combined with the slingshotting, which is not a bug, but it's a very weird feature. That there's the two things with arena. I would argue arena is the most important game mode because of the power cores that you mentioned, and when it's not working correctly,
Red Star economy.
Yeah, there needs a lot of fixes. I mean, gold promotion credits, silver promotion credits, not enough. We should be able to get a few characters. I mean, if they're releasing 3 or 4 characters a month, shouldn't we be able to promote one of those every month? I mean, it's just,
I guess
why is so much RNG?
I guess the problem is, we have to kind of understand that this is probably where they're making the most money, right? Is because of the fact that they've created this loot box system where, you could fail and wind up spending hundreds trying to get a usable character, because you could spend what, $500 to $600 to get a 5 or 6 star character from on launch day, and you can get like a 2 or 3 star character, and he or she could be unusable, because it's just, that's just the way that the late game and mid game kind of have it. So and that's kind of it there's got to be something done. He's not wrong.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be addressed. New character releases. You mentioned it. I spent $50 on Moon Knight. He's sitting on my bench because I didn't get a good red star pull, and there's no way to get more gold stars to make him usable to counter the team that he's supposed to counter. So definitely needs to be something done with these new character releases. I mean, if you spend $50 on a character, they're not even usable. You can't even use them for months. Mm-hmm. What is the incentive to buy a character? So there's a bunch of issues with these new character releases. And one thing that he did not mention that obviously we want changed is real-time arena. Any other thoughts on what he wrote? You want to play devil's advocate on any of these, or are all of these pretty obvious? And
there's honestly, Frondius and I communicate several times every day. He is a valuable member. He's one of my producers for content. We talk about how to give direction in the game, and he's a very logical person. So when he looks at it, he comes from a point of logic and reason, and none of the stuff is illogical or unreasonable to ask for.
I agree. I think it's a good thing to ask. All right, are you ready? It is time, my friend. Let's talk about WandaVision and some rumors, some speculations. As soon as I can find a scene, there it is. All right. Spoiler alert, guys. We're going to talk about WandaVision, everything up to episode 8. If you've not seen it, close your ears. What do you think about the latest episode?
It keeps getting better, dude. I mean, and the worst part about it is I can't believe we're on the last episode. And I'm like, what are they going to do? How do they wrap this up so that we're not, So, I think I joked about it. I said these blogs feel like it's stay tuned for next week. Like, so they're gonna wrap it up in like WandaVision in 9 episodes of blogs, and
we're getting a lot. We're getting the final episode of WandaVision and the final blog post of maybe not the final blog, but big blog post. Friday's a very big day.
So here we go. So
Agnes, what is she up to? What's her end game? What do you think she's planning to do? Why is she screwing with Wanda? A couple of theories. I mean, she mentions Ralph all the time. Is she trying to bring her husband Ralph back to life? Is Ralph that bunny? Is Ralph Mephisto or some other big bad guy? What is she trying to do? Why is she trying to get Wanda's powers? Or does she want that crown, that Scarlet Witch crown? Because it seems like it's a title.
So, this is the first time that she was named the Scarlet Witch in the MCU. Like, you do realize that, right?
Yes,
So
ever.
When it happened, we were like, "Oh no, dear, you're not supposed to exist. You're the Scarlet Witch. I was like, oh, and my wife's like, did they never call her that before? I'm like, no.
I didn't realize that until I started watching the show, and people were talking about it. She's never been called Scarlet Witch before, but yeah, first time.
Yeah, so I mean, so this is really kind of just like opens your eyes that she's had this power all along. She wasn't some Hydra experiment. And so really cool, like imagery, like, you know, when she's interacting with the Soul Stone and turning and like stopping the bomb from blowing up. And like, so they're identifying all the different times she actually used spells without even knowing that she was using spells and like conjure and like, so I guess it was interesting. Like I think there's a lot going on. And then we have that icon that you stayed for the end credits and you saw the remade.
The white vision. Yes.
So that's also iconic in the comics. So it's actually super cool. And we'll have to see like this showdown that's happening.
I remember that West Coast Avengers cover that had the vision on there. I never read the book, but I remember seeing that cover and all the time. Little bit of emotion. Did you get emotional with this? Looking back at her past and looking at her family and then the life they had planned with Vision. Was there some emotion for you on this?
I mean, what is love?
Oh,
dude, that was like it was such a great line, man. It was just
a very good line, but it was I'm getting a little watery here thinking about that.
Yeah, no, but I mean seriously, what it is like it really is it encompasses, I think, just how well this story's been written. It really kind of feels like it has that overarching like end game, you know, like when you look back at the end game and you look back at how this whole like thing was intertwined, you can look about how all these episodes just make sense now, and you have this final product. So yeah,
very, very good. I was very confused the first 3 episodes. I'm like, why did they just release it all at once? I like all this little speculation every week to week, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. I gotta say, I like how they did this week by week and giving us some time to process each episode and to digest, not just binge it all.
I watched it with the family.
I like it. I like it. Them releasing it week by week like this.
Every Friday after I watched a blog and reacted to a blog, we go watch it with the family and have a little interaction. So it's actually kind of cool. Same thing. We did the same thing in Mandalorian, and we'll do the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier in March.
And Loki right after that. I think Loki they scheduled Loki right after that as well. All right, but yes, enough with the MCU. Let's talk about the game that we're here to talk about. The Marvel Strike Force rumors, speculation. Usually my favorite time, but I don't think there's a lot of new stuff going on except for that these characters are coming in. No word about official teams, release methods. There were the names that are thrown out there. One of them happened to be Silver Surfer. I think the big speculation is that he's a milestone release character, but nothing official or unofficial. That I think is just speculation. Is that what you're hearing as well? Milestone release for Silver Surfer and mini milestone for Moon Knight.
I don't know. I mean, Moon Knight's going to be out this patch, so we'll have to see. But Silver Surfer, I gotta wonder if maybe he's like the answer for why Doom sucks in Arena, right? Maybe he's designed to synergize with them. We'll have to see. It's interesting that you're starting to bring these Heralds of Galactus into the game, so we'll have to see.
Maybe they're talking about a world boss in that blog post that we're getting stuff. All right, so we got teased of 2 mutants coming to the game, both previously in the X Factor comics. Do you think that's what team these characters are going to be on? Do you think it makes sense for them to be on any other team but X Factor by some of the names that have been thrown around?
X Factor is going to be broken. They're going to be so good.
They're like the symbiotes. The 2 characters are so good already.
So here's my concern. Are they going to make the Axemen obsolete in raids? Oh, wouldn't that be a kicker if you just built these Axemen up and they make them obsolete in raids? Do they not get what's like going on here? Like
that would make everybody so smiley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it is what it is. I think one of the things about it is they were like, hey, guys, you know what? You know what made them really happy back in October was symbiotes. Everybody was happy. The game was in the best place it's been. People were, let's give them more symbiotes. What do we have on? We can give them X Factor. We just gave Max. We just gave X-Men. They won't mind.
Not now. It ain't status quo in the community right now. You got Scopely. You got to do I hope this is not another raid team. We just got symbiotes. We just got X-Men, and now X Factor?
So they don't have to do much to make them better in raids, right? I mean, already we're seeing hybrid Axeman, X Factor teams dominating raids. So
yeah,
we'll have to see.
We will. Anything else that you want to discuss about rumors or speculation, or is that it for this week?
That's it. We got a lot of stuff to go over. We're gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff on the channel. We're gonna be talking about how to navigate all these new things that are coming to the game, because how to prep for Doom raids, get that up there so you can figure out how to build your roster, how to if you guys don't know, we've been specializing in how to prep for Dark Dimension 4 and get through there, because honestly that relieved some of the bottlenecks for me when I was able to go through there, although I've already spent all the gear I had because I'm in I have to.
You're the play tester. You're the beta tester for everybody. Make sure these teams are working. Make sure we suspend our T4s correctly.
Yeah, sometimes I'm still stuck behind some T4s myself here. So.
Well, my friend, as usual, it has been a pleasure. I'm glad that your dog is doing better. Hopefully makes a full recovery. Make sure you guys check out his channel because he has a lot of cool stuff. We're discussing a lot of videos that you just finished up, not released yet. So make sure you go over to his channel and subscribe. Anything else upcoming that you want to promote and that you want everybody to know about? I'm not putting any money in that swear jar because they were all bleeped. Nice. They were. You did a good job of bleeping those, brother. All right, man. All right. So, and congratulations all the changes that you're making in your personal life as far as fitness. So yeah, good stuff there. I'm down almost 50 pounds, and thank you to Mikey B and Worldwide Nutrition for making it happen. 50 pounds. No, you made it happen. They're helping you. People are inspiring you, but you are doing the work, man. So thank yourself for all the hard work that you did, brother. I will see you next time. Did you just tell me to thank myself? Thank yourself. Thank yourself. All right, I'll take myself on a dice date. Give yourself props. Give yourself a fist bump. All right. Anyway, we're getting a little silly. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you like this video. Click that like button. Check me out on social media. And Remanx, before you go, give me that fist bump, brother. Where's that fist? Oh, yeah, baby. Remanx and ValleyFlyin. Out. Yeah, have a good weekend. And a good rest of the week.